Okay, all right. Good morning, everybody. The time is now 9 o'clock. Welcome to the Public Works Committee regular meeting for Tuesday, July 2nd, 2024. Can I get a roll call, please?
Chair Garcia.
Here.
Vice Chair Ozog. Member Cahill. Member Desart. Here. Member Galassi. Member Zay.
Here.
Okay, I'm going to put on Member Childress as a board member for today. And then do we also need member you or no?
And member Childress, the one from Weston, you just do it.
Okay, and also member Childress. And we'll just put everybody on. Who's here?
Sheila one too.
Sheila too. So thank you all for joining us, and giving us a quorum today. I appreciate that. My chairwoman's remarks, I want to let you all know that on August 6th at 2 p.m. at the Itasca Sports Complex, there will be a ribbon cutting event for our newly constructed Nordic wastewater treatment plant. At the same time, the Itasca Park District and Village of Itasca will be holding a groundbreaking ceremony for their new trail that will be created partially alongside the treatment plant. This was a great example of municipalities working together to make multiple projects a success. Please join us in celebrating this joint event, and Michelle and Sean will be sending out a flyer and email invitation this afternoon. So watch your email for that.
August 6th.
August 6th,
2 p.m.
2 p.m. Yep. All right, moving on, public comment. Do we have any public comment today?
No.
Oh. Moving on to approval of minutes. Make a motion to approve 24-1889 Public Works Committee meetings for the regular meeting Tuesday, June 18th, 2024. Can I get a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion approved. Any opposed? I guess no. Okay. Moving to claims report, I make a motion to approve 24-1890 payment of claims, Public Works and Facilities Management. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Carries. Moving on to bid award, I make a motion to approve PWP 001524, recommendation for the approval of contract to Joseph J. Henderson and Son, Inc. for the rehabilitation of the Woodridge Green Valley wastewater treatment plant headworks and grit removal process for the period of June 11th, 2024 to November 30th, 2026, for a total contract amount not to exceed $18,869,424.90 per lowest responsible bid. So I've got a motion, a second, and Nick would like to say something.
No, I just wanted to point out, we are very happy. I mean, this is a big project for Public Works. We've been planning it for many years. We had 4 bidders and it was well below our estimate. And the bids were very tight, which was great. That means the specs and the design was very well done. But we're excited to get moving forward with this. This will provide benefits for our entire treatment plant all through the process, because we're greatly improving the headworks, which is the very first part of the plant, everything coming in. And it's a project that obviously is a very technically difficult project. We have to keep flow going while we completely change the front part of the plant, but we're excited to bring this forward.
Yeah, so with those comments, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
That's
Motion. Yay, passed. Okay, moving on to bid renewal. I make a motion to approve FMP 003024, recommendation for the approval of contract to Fox Valley Fire and Safety Company for preventative maintenance, testing, and repair of the non-Edwards system technology, fire alarm, and life safety systems for county facilities for the period of August 28th, 2024 through August 27th, 2025, for a total contract amount not to exceed $117,500. I've got a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on this? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Moving on to action items. I make a motion to approve 24-1891, recommendation for the approval of contract to Menards to provide a variety of products for Public Works for the period of August 1st, 2024 to November 30th, 2024, for a total contract amount not to exceed $14,500.01. I believe I heard a second, right? Can we fill the bags, right? Is there any discussion on this? Member Sir.
Yeah, I did have a question about this. Is Menards the lowest responsible bidder? Or is this like an open contract?
It's an open
where if we get
contract.
Something.
So
Yeah.
we use these like when our underground crew is out repairing, let's say they need like a little valve or a little gasket or something. Instead of shutting down the thing, they will run up to Menards and get it. I mean, a lot of times it's very, very small things to keep projects going. And so it's kind of an on-call.
I figured that was probably it, but how did you reach the $14,500?
Based upon expenditure levels that we've had,
And a penny.
and a penny, and based upon expenditure levels we've
That's a
historically
finance
had.
thing.
So
Okay.
it's, I mean, usually it's picking up, a $50 thing here or $75 thing there, but we do have checks and balances. Because obviously something like this, we have to make sure that we have multiple points of verification, so you don't have issues of, only being what's used on our projects or being bought.
Yeah, and it makes total sense to not shut down a whole project
Yeah.
for a nut or a bolt.
Yeah.
But, how did you go? I don't care. I don't have staff in any of them, but how did you go? with
We have
Menards?
multiple,
Did
we have
Home Depot,
multiple project,
Lowe's?
or multiple contracts like this out there with multiple vendors. And a lot of times it's proximity, sometimes it's supply, what's available. So we
I
have,
think we just approved Home Depot. just
yes, we
recently.
do. We have multiple ones out there.
Okay, any other discussion on this? All those in favor?
I,
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, moving on to ordinance, I make a motion to approve PWO 000324, an ordinance regulating parking facilities for electric vehicles on the DuPage
Second.
County campus. Got a motion a second. Did you want to discuss this at all?
Yeah, so as we're adding more and more electric vehicle chargers on campus, we've talked about this several times in this committee, that we need to make it fair. We can't just provide free power. It'd be like people coming here and filling up from our gas here. And so we want to make it available, and we're adding more in the future. So we figured it was the right time to come up with an ordinance for how we're going to charge, what we're going to charge. And this is a very fluid document. As we add more, we see the industry, we will modify accordingly. We have looked at multiple areas around us, multiple municipalities, how they do it. We're in line. You can see the exhibit here, Exhibit B. We've gone through the calculations to come up. We're trying to break even. That's our goal. We don't want to make money. We don't want to lose money. We have some capital in there, and it comes to 2 cents per kilowatt hour is what we're charging. We will absolutely review this on a regular basis to see as we add more chargers or the technology changes out there.
The 2 cents or 20 cents?
20 cents, 20 cents,
20
I'm
cents.
sorry.
Okay,
how do you charge somebody?
Through yes,
Charge
so
point.
charge point, so they have accounts, they do it, so it's all processed through them. They don't come in and give us $1 to do it. We just get paid them, from charge point.
Gotcha, thank you.
okay.
So Nick, what's the charge point gonna take out of that?
What is charge?
10%?
Looking like true government, we don't want to make money.
And I think any funds we get this go into a separate fund that will go for getting more electric chargers.
The
online or
electric chargers,
Or parking in facilities.
yeah.
Right, something to do with parking, right? Yeah, okay.
It's parking in facilities.
Okay, any other discussion? Okay, though all those in favor of this,
Aye.
any opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Moving into presentation, we've got a presentation for Public Works and Facilities Management.
So this is our first, as you know, in Public Works Committee, we usually divide up our discussion for our budget. The first time we give you the capital, which a lot of these you've already actually heard from previously, but we'll do capital today, and then in I guess it'd be 4 weeks because we don't have one until August. We will do the operational components. So if we can pull up that PowerPoint, we are going to do our budget for both Public Works and Facilities for the capital. Go ahead. So Sean, if you want to run us through here quickly.
Yeah, I'll run through the capital for Public Works. You can go to the next slide. Next few slides are just kind of all the projects that we have planned for 24 and 25. You'll see the top 4 projects are unique. They're the bigger projects that we're doing currently, the electrical project, the phase 1 project that you just actually approved for the 19 million. And then we have, the new sewer plant in Itasca that is completed. The rest of the projects that you'll see over the next couple slides, is kind of our normal capital year over year. It's focused on roofs for all of our buildings, HVAC, our chillers and things in our plants, the collection system rehabilitation, and then lift stations is kind of our primary focus in the sewer budget. So next slide. And this is just kind of a continuing list of the sewer budget. You can go to the next slide. This one is our water budget and then our admin. Water budget's quite a bit smaller. We're focusing on our water towers this year. There's a couple water main extensions and rehabilitation projects that we're gonna do in the water budget. And then our admin. Next slide. This is just kind of a breakdown of the capital projects and the funding sources. You saw this a few committees ago. We did a more detailed presentation on our funding sources. But you'll see the blue in both of them total almost $22 million in state revolving loan funds. That's going to be used to fund the larger projects that we just did. The green area is more of our normal capital. Those are our cash reserves, about $3.5 to $4 million of capital is what we spend on a regular year. And then the grant money that we got $10.2 million in grant. Those are the two gray ones. We're spending that on the larger projects that we're completing this year. And then that's it for public works.
Couple of things on public works. All the projects you saw were part of our long-term plan. I mean, we're planning these projects 5, 10, 15, 20 years out. And they are all in line with what was done for our long-term facilities management plan. In public works, we've been very fortunate. A lot of our bids have been coming in to the positive for us. And so it has been great. We've managed with the IEPA loan, this committee and the board signed off on several of our loans out there. So we're getting 1.1 to 1.8%, which is, that's how we're funding these. And we were fortunate for the $10+ million grant that we received from the state. And we are pursuing a $14.4 million grant right now. And it is directly, we're not doing other projects. It's funding projects that are in our, in our wheelhouse, what we have for the long-term plan. And because of the grant, because of the low interest loan, because of the bids we're receiving, because of the planning we've done, this committee has done, I'm happy to say our rates are one of the lowest in the entire region. I mean, not just immediate, but like the entire region, like Chicago, Illinois region. Our rates are very, very good in wastewater. So well done to our staff. Well done, Sean.
And the only other thing I'll add to it is a lot of these projects, there's huge energy reductions in all of these projects for us. And then regulatory wise, moving forward for our facilities, we're in really good shape for the foreseeable future for things like phosphorus, nitrogen, things like that. We're hitting that now. So
That's fantastic news. Thank you so much.
Now we have facilities management and we've heard a couple projects up to this point, but we've kind of put them all together in one presentation.
All right, Joe, 2 slides. We'll go quick. And this is the existing projects. There's a handout on this if you want to read it. It's a little easier on the handout in your documents. The 2 large projects we have ongoing is the Care Center project. That's for $1.5 million. That will go into the summer of 2026. 80% ARPA funding. Animal services, we're anticipating that'll be wrapping up right at the end of the calendar year. And then the existing projects, the biggie we have is the 421 HVAC project with Browning. That's about $7 million. That will be starting the 3rd week of September and go into 2024. We have some other ones on there. You can kind of go through those on the handout. I can go through those later if you want, but the other projects on here have already been awarded by the board and they're ongoing. The other one I have on here is EECBG. As a reminder, that money has to be spent by the June of 2026, and we're on track to take care of that. The gap analysis, the proposals have been received. That should be awarded shortly. EV charging, the 509 parking deck, that'll be operational in less than 90 days. The tunnel lighting project, that'll be done in less than 60 days. The solar panels, you've awarded that engineering work within the last 45 days. So that's on track to move very quickly. So that's kind of the pending projects we have there. So next slide. This is our budget request for 2025. We're asking for $3 million in capital. That's kind of the standard number that we try and go with. The 2 big projects we have are the stormwater designs and the engineering and the construction that we talked about at your last meeting. A few other ones I just want to touch on. $950,000 replaced the burner in one of the 3 boilers we have. That has been faulty for a while. It's been troubling us. It's really time to replace that one. Another big project we have is a switchgear replacement at the power plant. The engineering is near completion and we'll bid that work out. The other 2 I wanted to touch on is we have $200,000 we're proposing for energy efficiency improvements. Ian has been a godsend for us to determine where our priorities are. Ian has determined that the annex lighting would have our biggest bang. That's what we want to pursue on that one for next year. And then just the last one for in the budget request I wanted to touch on is we're proposing to add more solar to the 421. And the reason we're doing that is the EECDG grant has matching requirements. So as we generate electricity, we have to expend that money back on the campus. So by installing more solar, we've met all those requirements before the grant even ends. So it kind of checks a box for us. It's also more efficient to install more solar on 421 and do it in one big lump. The other 2 projects we're anticipating in 2025 is the DOT 140 replacement. You'll be getting more information on that, most likely the second meeting in August from Bill Edson and us. The CPRG grant, that's the one where Kane County is the lead. We partnered with them on it. We are confident that we'll be moving ahead. That'll be $10.6 million. And then some additional capital work at the care center. So that's kind of a summary of the capital work that we're looking for in FY25.
I'd like to highlight a couple things just to kind of telegraph for the board know what's coming. Care Center is the first one. We've been meeting with Janelle and her team. As you know, we're doing a big ARPA rehab of that facility, $31 million. They've been very fortunate recently, the Care Center has, with their reimbursements from the state. They have additional funding in-house, not needing any funding from the general fund. But we are looking at the possibility of maybe expanding that project to rehab the rest of the facility with her money as part of this project. So we're going through that right now. Most likely will be before you guys end of the year. And we're talking, this is like 2-3 years out because the current project's gonna take that long. But if she has the money, we might be doing that. Stormwater, Tim did a great discussion, I think 2 weeks ago regarding the potential higher water levels, higher flooding here on campus. We may be asking the board to consider as part of the contingency, at least to fund to pre-fund some of the design, so Tim can start going on design so that we can get some of the flood proofing done next year. So we may move forward with that. 421 HVAC, as the committee remembers, as part of the 2023 surplus, you funded the entire construction of the HVAC for this building here, 50-year-old HVAC. What hasn't been funded is the resident engineering needed for that. We may see, we're going to be doing an ARPA presentation next week, and we've got some money freed up that has become available. That's one of the asks we're going to have is to fund the resident engineering for that. And as always, just to keep in mind, parking decks, that's still floating out there. The committee and the board has given a substantial amount of money. We basically bought ourselves a couple of years with that, but the parking decks are still hanging out there. We're not going to pursue anything on that for the next year or two, but that's just something to keep in mind. The parking decks are still hanging out there, but we've got them, at least we've bought ourselves a couple of years for what we've done.
Question?
Yeah, I have a couple of questions. Tim, you said, you mentioned this, but I didn't catch it. Of the care center, 31.5 million, how much was what percentage was ARPA?
With rounding 80, it's 79.86 or something.
Okay, and the animal services facility, how much was that, was ARPA?
$900,000, the percentage escapes me.
Okay.
Well,
And also-
it's like a 13 or 12 million.
Yeah, the total project care center is 14.5. I'm sorry, 13.4. 13.4.
Thank you, I just wanted to get that down. And also, Nick, I didn't understand what you're saying about the care center when you were talking about
So,
the whole rest of. the
yeah,
thing.
so-
Are you
so-
talking about even the wings that haven't been done forever?
Well,
Is
there's
that
portions
the
that weren't,
10.6
yeah,
million?
there's portions that aren't included in the project that
Right.
has been done. And the thought process is, we are getting good pricing. We have the whole, like, moving the residents around and doing that. And talking to Janelle, that there's no time like the present, because rather than, it's way less disruptive if we continue to do it. And if we don't need general fund money and she has it, she has to figure out if that's a priority for her. But it's looking like it likely will be a presentation
I
moving
mean,
forward.
for 2 years, I've been talking about getting the whole thing restored.
And this is our
And
opportunity.
getting the whole thing restored would just be an extra 10.6 million?
That's what we're trying to find. We just had our first meeting on it last week. I just wanted to, there's some portion, and she's been very lucky with the reimbursements. They've been very high, and the reason they're high is because the quality of service has been so high. Her reimbursement levels have been increased by the state because of her ratings.
So because our ARPA funds are almost gone now, you're saying this some extra money would come from the state?
No, the extra money comes from her capital reserves that she's built up. Within her, those are her reserves for the care center that they've built up.
Okay, thank
So,
you so
yep.
much. I just wanted to be more clear on that. Thank you.
Member Rose.
Thanks, Nick. Another question on that line is, how does the discussion evolve of what to do with that space if we move forward? with
So
renovation?
what we're talking about, the renovation we're talking about is not the south wing that has been absolutely, that is still, it's everything, kind of everything but the south wing. And we do have some discussions going on with various entities as we speak right now about maybe having a partnership. Not baked out enough to bring it for discussion. We got to see if anything, but theoretically, if one of them does come through, and if they maybe team with the state, there might be some capabilities for the south wing. But what we're talking about,
Sorry, I was just talking about the South Wing.
south wing is not part of
And you
this.
said yes.
No, south wing is not part. South wing
No,
is
that's
the
fine.
one that's been basically shuttered for all this
Right, that's what
time.
I said.
This is not south wing. This is everything else but south wing.
And I've said it to the chair, I've said it to committees before, I'd love to see a daycare center over there. I think that the cost of daycare for everybody is sometimes not even work, for people going to work. I think it'd be a good perk for employees here, so that's my 2 cents. I'd like to see.
Not a bad idea, but we'll see. The one thing I wanted to point out when you're talking about the HVAC change in September is that I've had a lot of people complain about the temperature, and you did let me know that when they're changing out the units, it's going to be worse.
It's gonna be a nightmare.
Right.
Yes.
So just so you're aware, where your
Large or
layers,
cold, which one?
where are your layers, and so you're prepared for anything. When it's done, it'll be better, but we gotta get through the whole changing of it,
It's-
so.
It will be impactful, even to the point that I will probably do a presentation during county board at some point. So that all of our, now a quick announcement, so that all of our employees can hear it too, because it's gonna impact
You
it.
know, they have those little chillers for like $90. Not for the county boardroom, but for the offices
Oh,
to keep our employees comfortable.
We're looking at
Time.
renting fans, we are, that is,
Those little chillers.
yeah,
like
we're looking at all
cool
different options. And it
And
depends on
we're
the time
only
of
here for a
year.
couple of hours a
Yeah.
week, but you guys are all here for.
Yeah.
3 hours.
We're encouraging departments where they can to have their staff work remote. And
Oh.
we figured out how to do that in 2020, so.
Because this building is divided into zones, so when we do a zone and we're working on it, if they can work remote and be productive, we're gonna say it's in everybody's best interest for that zone. And then as we move zones, it would go around. So, yeah, it's not gonna be a fun
Staff is
project.
thinking about
I
it.
care about
It
your
is
staff.
much needed because of 50 years, it's a little bit long for HVAC. So, all right,
Next one.
going on to the next one, we're on to the 2024-2025 CFRA projections.
So we have a short presentation here. If this committee remembers, energy, when we bid out energy, we tried twice and it didn't work out. And so we kind of took a risk and just went on the open market. it has paid off that we did what we did. And so real quick summary of since we bid it out, what's happening with the prices?
Yeah, so our lowest bid was 4.026 out of the second bidder, which would have been a 60% increase from our original 3 year contract prior with AEP Energy. So at that point, we elected to enroll into the ComEd commercial hourly rate, which has proved to be beneficial to the county standards. Next slide, please.
So keep that 0.04 number in mind. That's what we would have awarded for the bid.
So I have kept pretty close eyes since the switch at the beginning of May as to how the county has been doing. Approximately about 10% of the time, we have been above that fixed price. So 10% of the days, we've been above 4.026 cents. Which in turn means that the county has saved about 30% or about $100,000 on electricity supply costs since the switch over at the beginning of May. So that means our recommendation is to continue to track this as well as review it in the sense of, okay, is it profitable or is it beneficial to the county? And at the point it becomes, not beneficial is when we say, hey, let's go back out to bid. Next slide, please.
So this is a quick summary of the CFRA, which is a carbon-free resource adjustment. It's a line item on all ComEd customer bills that started back in 2022. Essentially, when energy prices are high, ComEd credits its customers, and then when energy prices are low, we subsidize nuclear power plants, so we get charged. So 2022, the green is good. We had a huge amount of credits from 2022, but last year, 2023, you can see the red. We turned it from a credit into a charge. As we are going into the 3rd year of this program, there's a little bit of uncertainty on where this is going. Are we going to be charged, credited? Currently, we are sitting at a net credit of $575,000, so we are still in the green, so to speak. Next slide, please. So this is, ComEd just issued their kind of predictions for their next year, this 3rd year of the program on what they anticipate to be a credit or charge for their customers. So looking at this table on the right here, you've got all the billing periods on the left, but then the next column over is their predictions on what they predict to be the line item. And as you can see, they predict about 1/3 of a cent credit for the entire year. However, month to month, they have the ability to kind of change that credit or charge to better reflect the actual energy markets at the time. So the first 2 months of this 3rd year, you can see they've changed it from a credit to a charge. So there's still some uncertainty. And due to that kind of uncertainty, facilities is planning for a net charge for next year, just to be safe.
So, but we're kind of giving you, we are monitoring it very, very closely. Obviously, it's a big part of our budgets, both facilities and public works. We're comfortable where we're at right now, but it is a quickly and very dynamic changing. And so we're monitoring it. We're comfortable both with the pricing we have, the bids that we have, where the ComEd adder is for what we're doing. So we'll continue to monitor it and keep this committee in a loop.
The city in Naperville, we have our own electric, obviously. Is there, obviously you guys are going through ComEd, is that it? So you're just looking for different price points, different programs to be able to get the rates lower or just.
But historically, we've always bid it out ourselves and awarded it. And we've saved a lot of money over the years, but our last bid was such an increase. So for probably the past 15 years or 10 to 15, we've bid it out and awarded. Now we're on the hourly rate, which changes, all the time with ComEd. So it's a little bit different for us.
So there's no flexibility in tapping into another system though, like tapping into Naperville. Tavia has the same system, so we don't have the infrastructure or anything into that, so we're stuck with ComEd no matter what.
Or another supplier, we can go back out on the street
Yeah.
and they could provide it, but yeah.
All right, great.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, any other questions on this? Okay. Let's move on to discussion real quickly. We've got the Heritage Gallery update.
Thanks, Jeff. We've had a couple initial meetings with Taylor Studio staff, the museum staff, just Zoom so far, kind of squaring out the official timeline. Looks like Taylor Studios will be on campus sometime in August. To see the existing space and kind of get a feel for, structurally, whether we want to reuse the old stuff or just kind of put up some new walls and displays down there. The public survey and focus groups are currently, November, December timeframe is when, they'd return and really dive into the content at that point. The full timeline of the project, really on February 2025 is when they'd be back, with concept designs and, kind of fleshed out budgets for the committee to approve and review, before moving on to the, design development phase, which we have as, that'd be February next year.
Right?
Just a quick update, yeah.
Thank you. So would you, because I've been involved in this for years, would you please invite me to the August meeting when they're downstairs? I'd just like to.
I will do you one better.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna have your several board meeting, we've got to be careful with so much quorum,
Oh, right.
but you are gonna be part of a more focus group with board
Right.
members.
We've
Okay,
already
good.
discussed
But
that.
I would love to be with, Philip Buchanan and I.
Yeah.
Would probably like to
You,
be
you,
there at that.
before the August, before that one, you will likely be with Taylor.
Good, thank you. And my second question is, I don't know if you've come up with the surveys yet, but I was just, what was it? There was something, another survey that was done that had like 21 people out of 60 responding, and they were making policy on such a small number. And so I'm wondering how many surveys will go out and how many surveys do you anticipate getting back?
I
And who
think,
do the surveys go to?
sure, I think that's still to be fleshed out, and that'll probably be discussed in August, kind of how we want to direct that. I would hope that county communication staff would assist in publicizing it. They mentioned they've used SurveyMonkey before, that sort of thing. So I think the November timeframe would probably be more a general online public survey. And then first week of December would be the stakeholder focus groups back at the building. So we could inform them with the survey that there will be, a focus group they could attend, that sort of thing. But we're kind of hoping to have kind of a 1-2 punch there where the survey goes out first and then the focus group kind of dials it all in.
Thank you, Jeff. Thank
Yeah.
you, Madam Chair.
Yeah, we know that you've been involved for years, and so
Everything
all
always
of,
comes
all
up,
of
I
our
let you know.
discussions have been bringing you back into
Thank
it,
you.
so that you'll be a part of that, and then I think Member Childers is also gonna be a part of it, so.
Thank you.
So, okay, and the old business, new business. With that, what's the word I use again?
Without objection.
Without objection, we're adjourned.